Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above, and as most of you are already aware, this crypto market is really heating up lately. Everything I mentioned in my last video is coming to life, and we could be moments away from a 50k Bitcoin as this market sentiment turns into extreme greed and what I'm calling the final moments of a bull trap. So we have a lot to get into in today's video. I'll be reviewing the charts of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP for a broad overview of the crypto market. But before we get started, big shout out to some of the leaders in this space that invited me onto their channel for interviews over the past week. I wanted to share my gratitude for the 3T Warrior Academy, The Bearable Bull, and Rice TV X, also known as Rice Crypto. It's an amazing opportunity to be in collaboration with these leaders during this time, and if you haven't checked them out, definitely go over to their channels and show some love. And if you're new here to my work after watching any of those interviews I had recently, I appreciate you, and I'm grateful for your support, and I'm looking forward to all of us collaborating together in 2024 to make this the most transformational year of our lives. That's my vision, that's my purpose, and I'm grateful to be a part of your journey. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. Now, let's recap the last video I released that had 50k Bitcoin in the title. I posted on December 1st. Since Bitcoin is up over 15% and has tested 44k multiple times now and is now less than 15% away from hitting 50k. By the time I release my next video, Bitcoin could easily swipe through this 50k level and even higher, as shown in my last video. Again, this isn't my opinion, it's just what Bitcoin does around this stage in the cycle. And I want to clear that up because some people saw that title and they thought it was clickbait, and it wasn't. It was just showing exactly how Bitcoin moves around this stage or this phase of our cycle. And I'm going to quickly recap that for you. Again, if you are new here, welcome. It's so great to have some new people joining in, and we are about to hit 70,000 subscribers. I believe we'll be able to make that happen by the end of today. But let's get into these charts and show you what I'm talking about with this 50k upside projection and how it's not my opinion, it's just technical analysis. So we're going to go back to 2012 in this cycle right here. Very quickly, what you're seeing as we move through each of these cycles is a fib retracement pulled from the swing high or all-time high at the time down to the swing low. We are looking at a logarithmic chart, and we're making sure that this fib retracement tool has this checked off at the bottom, fib levels based on log scale. When we get up to this stage right here where we're within these golden lines, this is your golden pocket, that's your 618 to 786 fib levels. So this is your macro fib. And when we zoom in this 2012 cycle, we're going to see that once Bitcoin closed a daily above the macro 618 fib, Bitcoin went on to have an additional 40% gain before a dramatic over 40% correction. And then it was sideways for 5 months before breaking this high. So we're going to go over to the 2016 cycle. We have the same setup moving into this golden pocket. And once Bitcoin closed above the 618 fib, we saw a 40% move to the upside, followed by a 40% correction, and then sideways for 6 months before breaking this high. Now we're going to go over to the 2019 cycle, which we have right here. And we can see Bitcoin making its move to the top of this golden pocket. Going to zoom in. Once Bitcoin closed the daily above this 618 fib, it gained 40% to the upside and then eventually corrected about 50% over the following 6 months. And then the entire market experienced a black swan event in March of 2020. Effectively, Bitcoin was sideways and did not go higher after that peak for almost 500 days. That's almost a year and a half. So all of these iterations have something in common. Bitcoin closing a daily above this 618 fib level, leading to a 40% gain that moments after could be following a 40% correction. So this 40% move to the upside is what could be an incredible de-risking opportunity, since Bitcoin does not break this high for at least a half a year after that move. All iterations show Bitcoin dropping 40 to 50% from this peak of the move, and that's the lowest that Bitcoin tends to go for the remainder of this cycle before moving into price discovery or a new all-time high. And that timing is around this Bitcoin halving. So after your halving, you would have a new conversation where we can start to utilize data from the past to determine when that new all-time high is likely to come in, but we're not there just yet. Let's take things one step at a time. That's what we're doing here on this channel. We're not trying to get ahead of ourselves. We're trying to figure out what's the opportunity we're faced with in the present. So this means that whatever correction follows this peak, it'll be one of the best levels to get back in on Bitcoin after de-risking. And what it also means is that it'll most likely drive a deep correction for the altcoins, which is, again, another incredible opportunity. I want people to realize here that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to sell right now. You must do what is best for you based off of your investment thesis. And what I teach here is how to develop an investment thesis, not when to buy or when to sell. Because when you have an investment thesis and you follow it, now you become a self-reliant investor. I don't want anyone following me. I want you to be able to lead the charge on your own. That's what's different about what we're doing here on this channel. We're trying to make you a self-reliant investor. That's what sets you free. That's what creates wealth. So I just share this information with everyone because I think it's important so you can see how the wealthy think. Where to get in, where to get out, to remove your emotions out of all of this, and to not necessarily be following along anyone on your journey. That's what's really beautiful about our community. Over on patreon.com/watersabove in the Mastermind community, we have a full-blown community full of people that are not only technical analysts, not only decoders, but we're all walks of life, all cultures, all countries, all around the world, and we're all self-reliant. And that's what makes it beautiful, is that we are all bringing our specialty to the table and strengthening each other. We're building together, and that's what's making this next cycle we're about to move into, well, it's going to be so transformational for all of us because we're not here just shouting from the sky about some arbitrary price target to the upside. We actually know how to read these charts, and we know how to help each other when things get a little bit too greedy or a little bit too fearful to stay neutral in the process. This way we can make the best decisions for ourselves, our family, our community. Getting back to this, I think it's important that we have some of that foundation, that philosophy and market wisdom, so that you can see how we're able to navigate these cycles the way that we do and ultimately take action when very few take action. Most people start to FOMO in right now. And if you were following along this channel before we entered this more bullish energy, we were talking about buying the boredom. And that was a time where a lot of influencers weren't even making videos. So here we are. We're watching everyone show up out of the woodwork. Now they're excited about crypto. And this is exactly what you need to take note of, because this is showing you it's greedy now and it's time to take a break. This is important. We're at this moment and we've been through it before. And I can guarantee you the conversation around this moment was very similar. You heard negativity from the news and regulation and banks. You heard Bitcoin being called a scam, all of that stuff. And then when the pullbacks came, those same talking heads on mainstream media went away. Rinse, repeat. It's been happening over and over again. It's really just bait, and the fish bite it. I want everyone to explore what Bitcoin is doing today and consider these numbers we just discussed in these past 3 iterations. what we see is that if we were to move exactly 40% up from the bottom of this golden pocket, the 618, that'd be taking us somewhere into the range of a $54,000 Bitcoin, between 53 to 55K. Again, this is not my opinion. I showed you all of the cycles before this at this exact time and how Bitcoin acts during this time. It's just what it is. So we can see that this move here would actually be extending us above the top golden line, which is the 786 fib. And the only other iteration we saw that this happened in was the 2019 cycle. And let me go back to that just really quickly to show you what I'm saying. It happened right here, and it didn't last long. This whole move up to 53 to 55K Bitcoin could happen literally in a 4-hour candle. And then in the same daily, we can close below the 786 fib, and it will look like a blow off top. That's why in the intro of today's video, I said that I'm calling this the final moments of a bull trap, because we're overheated on the RSI, we're mimicking the same structural essence of all past cycles, and we're starting to see some bearish divergences play out. But I don't want to make this video so technical. I want to keep it simple. So we're keeping it super simple here. We're just focusing on the pattern. The pattern keeps repeating. And when I made my last video, there was definitely some pushback I got, because when I share these targets, people take it as, you know, me trying to make things dramatic and sensationalized. And I even prefaced that video by saying there's no emotions here. We're just paying attention to what Bitcoin does and removing the emotion, removing the speculation, removing all of this FUD and FOMO, and seeing with clarity. So what I'm thinking about this whole move is that I want to start discussing my conservative de-risking targets. Again, I'm very vulnerable and I'm transparent as I could be when it comes to the moves I'm making. One of the other perks to having our Mastermind community membership over on Patreon is that I share whenever I'm buying or selling in live updates. So if that's something you're interested in, that's one of the perks over there. It's not signals, it's not me telling you when to trade, it's just me sharing all of the altcoin and Bitcoin moves that I make. And right now I've been building up a venture capital bag of about 12 different positions. So I'm looking at about a little bit over 12 to 14 plays. And that's the bag that I'm going to be holding throughout the next bull run. I'm not just focused on Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. When we do these videos here on YouTube, it's to give you a broad overview of what's going on. That's how this market works. It's Bitcoin that moves this market. Anyone who says otherwise, you should ask them to show you data. Here we're just showing you the data. That's it. It's not about opinions. What we're watching right now with Bitcoin is pretty much 50% of this move to the upside. And for me, my conservative de-risking target would be about 4% below this 786 fib. That'd be putting us around 48K Bitcoin. So for me personally, I'm looking at about 47 to 48K Bitcoin as a de-risking target, even though all these past cycles did have a full 40% move, which would be technically above 50K. As a professional trader and a technical analyst, and just some words of wisdom, I know better than trying to set a limit order exactly at the top. That's just asking to not have your order filled. We all know these exchanges drop the ball at the worst times, and I'm not here to feel like a hero for catching the exact top. I'm here to profit off this market, period. And the only way to do that successfully is to make sure that you have a conservative level set and not try to catch a wick, because that's usually very difficult across most exchanges. That's the extremes in the data, and most of the time only partial orders get filled. So again, just words of wisdom here for anyone who is looking to de-risk at any time, no matter what. I also have a full exit strategy blueprint that's built within my crypto mastermind course that teaches all of this stuff so that you could actually take advantage of these moves and not be somebody that's sitting on the sidelines. So based off these levels we're trading at today, I'm personally looking for about a 7 to 9% more move to the upside for me to de-risk and then position myself for a sub 40K Bitcoin to reaccumulate. And considering in all three iterations of this phase of the cycle, Bitcoin had about a 40% correction from that peak level. Well, if we just take from about 54K Bitcoin down about 40%. We're seeing that brings us to around 32K Bitcoin. 31 to 32K, slightly above 30K. And we have a very important technical level sitting right there. That's the 0.5 fib, which was Bitcoin's breakout level, as you can see, and that is crucial. We can see multiple rejections for Bitcoin over here at around 31,000, and it took almost 200 days to clear that resistance. So coming back down to that level at around 31K, that would make a lot of sense, because coming back to retest prior resistance as a new support is likely, especially on these parabolic breakouts. And about 30% of that 40% correction that I'm anticipating can happen in under a week. So it could happen during this month. In less than a single trading week, this could all go down. So it's important to realize the speed of this type of move during this phase in the cycle. It's essentially a trap for longs. It's a bull trap. And then they liquidate the shorts, and in the next move after, they already liquidated all the shorts at the start of this month, and that was going on over here with this arduous grind to the upside and people feeling like we're probably going to keel over. This is just how this market works. It does the opposite of what retail anticipates. But if retail was aware of the esoteric thing that moves this market, which is Gematria, Numerology, Astrology, as well as clear level-headed technical analysis combined with those esoteric principles, you will be able to have an edge on this market and outperform anyone, even some of the highest paid money managers. Again, they're called brokers for a reason. It's their job to keep their clients broke, not wealthy. So the timing of this move to the upside, I did talk about in my last video, but just a quick recap, it could be completed to the upside by this upcoming Monday or Tuesday. It's likely that this upcoming FOMC meeting on Wednesday brings a lot of volatility to these markets, and with the stock market being so overheated right now, this makes everything pretty much due for a correction. This is also the day after this month's new moon. The new moon is a time frame where the market is typically pretty bullish, and Fed Chair Powell will be speaking next Wednesday on December 13th, which is the day Mercury goes retrograde. Another important data point, since we see Bitcoin tend to top out right before Mercury retrograde and then have a correction into Mercury retrograde. So a quick note, Mercury will be stationed retrograde until January 1st, New Year's. So for me, it's feeling like our move should be completed fairly soon, probably before the end of next week. That would be the most likely time frame. So if you wanted to consider the whole week ahead, that'd be putting us into around the 17th of December, the latest. Note that it's December 8th, and I'm personally going to go ahead and assume that it happens before all of that, given everything I just shared. So even though we could have a move up to 50K Bitcoin and back down below at around almost 30K on a correction pretty quickly, we could still have Bitcoin trading back around 40K into the new year, but we'll cross that road when we get there. Now, the only thing that's slightly outside of this theory of a short-term top for Bitcoin would be some of the altcoins, and this has everything to do with Bitcoin dominance rebalancing right now. So I personally see Bitcoin and Ethereum essentially topping out at the same time very soon, but we could definitely have liquidity spill over from these two main assets in the space and go into some of the more suppressed alts. And that's what leads to my theory of a $1 XRP by the end of this month, or as late as the first new moon of 2024, which would be January 11th, less than a month out from today. Essentially, everything would be balancing out. Coins such as Solana and Chainlink that are overheated would top out likely with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but coins like XRP and Hedera, HBAR for instance, would have more room to go before an eventual correction. Again, this is all just balancing out with Bitcoin dominance versus altcoin and stablecoin dominance during this phase of the run. So let's quickly head over into the Ethereum chart to consider the levels topping out with Bitcoin, and then I'll wrap up today's video with the XRP analysis that supports what I just mentioned moments ago. But before we get over into the TA, go ahead and give this video a like if you haven't already. Spread some love in the comment section. That's what we're all about here. So we're going to be going over to ETH. There's definitely a story going on right now. I'm going to be focusing on this chart right here. I'm going to be turning off all of this noise, and we're just going to keep it nice and simple. We have this key level of the 618. It is the bottom of the golden pocket sitting around 2,500. All right. I want to pull two separate fibs. We're going to be pulling a short-term fib right here at the April eclipse and to our swing low right there. And you're going to see where this 1618, the golden ratio, hits perfectly on this macro 618. Now, another thing we could do is pull a fib from this to this right here. It's just a typical swing. You see these types of moves in altcoins all day, but let's just have fun and entertain that swing high to that swing low. And you could see where this 1618 brings us is $2,600 ETH right there around this macro 618. So in plain English, it's very likely that the next move up for ETH ends around this 0.618 fib. We have 3 fib levels. We have the macro and we have 2 micro fib pulls all showing a similar level. That would be about $2,500 to $2,600 ETH, likely to be the top. That correlates with this move to Bitcoin hitting 50,000. This could follow up with a correction back to this macro 382 fib, which is slightly below 1700 ETH. Now, could this overextend and go a little bit more to the upside on ETH? Sure. But again, we're talking about wicks to the upside that could last a 4-hour candle. Could last a single trading day of swiping up to something like 2,900 or 3,000, and then it could come back down. So keep in mind, ETH is still technically an altcoin and is subject to big swings in either direction. So as a technical analyst, I do need to remind everyone of this type of upside volatility, as well as the 236 fib. That is huge, especially when you consider a Wyckoff schematic. You could definitely have a final retest of this level down here before things get truly bullish. For ETH, that would be a retest of around 1,300, and that could be 5 months out, by the way. That could be in April or May of 2024. So I'm just giving you the time horizon and something to consider. With what I was sharing before with Bitcoin, it could take 5 to 6 months after it tops out in the short term to go higher, So that's kind of like where I'm looking at all of this, the play-by-play. Again, we'll cross that road when we get there. But I want to share this final thing on ETH. Anything that is below this 382 is a gift. Anything around this 1,500 to 1,550 level, that should hold as a support moving forward. And if we were to get anything below that, we would probably still close that same monthly candle above that 382 fib. That's just the technicals on this play. Anything lower is just an accumulation opportunity. Let's get over into XRP. Really quickly, we can see this fractal is playing out very nicely. I have it highlighted. It might be a little bit dark for some, so I will increase the brightness, and you can see how this is playing out thus far. I did share the $1 XRP target by the end of the year, and if we were to look at this fractal at around when it hits $1, it would be January 1st. Pretty much. So it's right there as we transition from the end of 2023 into 2024, and then we could see it pushing up as high as $1.20. That'd be a very technical play as well, and a new higher high and cementing the current lows as our lower high, which is a very bullish structure. So we have to just remind ourselves that this coin likes to pop off in a single day, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're coiling up in this moment to have that one green candle that breaks all of our prior resistances. We are exactly here in March 2021 era. That time frame is what I think we are at right now. And I've made so many videos lately talking about this. I connected with the Bearable Bull just a couple days ago over on his channel, so definitely go watch that interview if you're interested in more specifics on that XRP play. But what we shared leading up into this move of 80 to 90 cents created so much profit for people, because they saw that opportunity, they de-risked, they didn't get emotional thinking we would go much higher, regardless of what was going on with the SEC case. I was talking with Bearable Bull about that months before that even happened, and just really these plays that we've been making on XRP have been legendary. So this opportunity we got of a sub 60-cent XRP to do some final accumulations, again, I shared this over on my Patreon in the Mastermind community. Well, we are well positioned, and we've effectively been in 2 incredible swing trades just over the past couple months with all of this volatility in XRP. I mean, it really gets us ahead and to just accumulate more XRP. Really, that's the whole purpose, because we all know that this is going much, much higher into 2024, the start of 2025. We could be talking about double digits as high as $20, $25. So everything that we're doing right now is to just accumulate more XRP. That's it. And that's the strategy. So I'll leave it at this. We do have this fractal playing out very nicely. I've talked about this enough on my channel, so you could go watch my last video. If you're new here, it will fill you in great detail. I have not seen a fractal play out so smoothly and so similarly. So if it's not broken, why try to fix it? I'll let this wrap up right now. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning into today's video. Enjoy these markets while everyone is FOMOing in. You've been positioned. And if you're somebody who's not positioned, it's all good. No need to FOMO in right now. There is plenty of opportunity to come. Like I shared, we could be seeing Bitcoin trading right back at 30K, which could definitely bring lots of correction across the board to this entire altcoin space, and I will be talking about that more in the next video. So I appreciate every single one of you. Wishing you a beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.